What's up guys, it's Adam FPL again, welcome back to another video here on my channel. Game week 10 had some pretty scattered scores all around, and I hope you guys had a decent game week. With that being said, the FPL world has not had any time to recuperate as game week 11 is already bringing its fair share of drama and team news, so there's many midweek ties in the Champions League, and a lot of players that people have in their FPL teams are being rested already, which is leading people to worry. And also, most recently, a match has actually been postponed, the Friday night match of Aston Villa against Newcastle, because Newcastle's entire first team has had to isolate because of an influx of COVID-19 cases. We still don't know the aftermath of that and whether it'll be played when and where, but with that being said, we have a lot to talk about and we're going to be talking about that later in the video. So if you like what you're seeing, like and subscribe down below, and with that being said, let's get into the video. So I'm sure that many of you have heard at this point that the Friday night game between Aston Villa and Newcastle has been called off because of the influx of COVID cases within the Newcastle first team, and they've all been in isolation and have shut down the training ground. So this has sent a lot of FPL managers into panic, as many managers have a few Aston Villa players and maybe even a couple of Newcastle players. So in this little segment, I'm going to talk about what you guys should do with your Aston Villa players and Newcastle players, and what you guys should do in terms of transfers, and just kind of talk about the situation as a whole. So many of you guys probably have Martinez, as he's one of the top owned goalies at the moment in the game. And with Martinez, I think that if you have a backup keeper, first of all, like Peacock Farrell, who if Pope is injured can possibly be playing, I think that it's worth just waiting on any further news with Martinez, as I think that a goalie transfer is not worth it, especially for a hit, if it'll only net you a net total of about 2 points if they get a clean sheet. And I think that usually goalies end up getting 1 to 2 points, or maybe 3 in general. So I think that a goalie transfer and playing with 10 men is probably not the worst idea this game week, because it's only for 1 week, and Martinez will have potentially 2 double game weeks in the future, which could provide big points. With Jack Grealish, obviously a lot of the game has him as well, and I think that if you have a playing bench and a decent bench that you can sub Grealish in, again, it's only for 1 week, and Aston Villa will definitely be back after this game as they're not the team with COVID. So I think that if you can sub Grealish in for a bench player, even like a 4.5 million midfielder or something like that, I think that Grealish is worth the hold as he's so good. Or if you really are tempted to get rid, you could possibly get Jota in or something like that for Grealish. And with Watkins, I think that maybe you could transfer him into a forward like Bamford, Adams, etc., as there's many options, but this is if you have a transfer to kind of use on it and you have nothing else to upgrade in your team. And essentially, I think that you should just bench some of your Aston Villa players if they're only gone for 1 week. Now with Newcastle here, I've put in the 2 players that I think are probably more popular, although none of Newcastle's players are very popular in FPL, but Darlow as a keeper. So I think that Newcastle's caught into the same situation as Villa, but potentially they could be out longer if, according to the rules, it takes about 10 to 14 days for a test to return positive, and if they still have to isolate till then, Newcastle may not even play next week. So I guess maybe it's worth a transfer if you have a couple Newcastle players like Darlow or Wilson. But with Wilson, at least, if you have a playing bench, you could maybe sit him for a week or 2 and then get him back, as he has great fixtures coming up. And I think that it's just, all in all, I think that with this game and with this situation, it's best to just wait with your transfers if you haven't already, and get as much news as possible, and this way you can make the most sensible move at the last minute. So game week 10 turned out to be one of my best game week scores of the season so far in terms of what the average was. So the average was 44 points, and I got 62 with no hits this week, which really helped me get a big green arrow to about 1.6 million, about a 500k increase from my 2.1 million rank a week ago. So obviously this is not still the best rank that I'm wishing to be at, but all I can ask for is a steady green arrow and climb, and I'll get there eventually, and that's a really positive thing. So in my defense, no one really got the points except Chilwell, who got the majority with 8 points. He was involved with Chelsea in that 0-0 draw against Spurs, which didn't really go as expected, but really happy to get the points from Chilwell there. He's so consistent, he's basically essential. Martinez, Justin, and Taylor with 1 and 0 pointers, so I didn't really expect much from Martinez against West Ham, as West Ham are a pretty solid team so far. With Justin and Leicester surprisingly conceding 2 goals to Fulham, I was really expecting a clean sheet there, as that was my transfer, but with these next couple fixtures, hopefully he starts and he gets some more points. And Taylor, who subbed in for the not playing Cancelo, so I was really hoping that Cancelo would play in this great fixture, and Man City ended up getting a clean sheet, so it was unfortunate that he wasn't involved. In the midfield, we had a couple great performances, and luckily one of them was my captain, Bruno Fernandes, who I captained this week away to Southampton, and look what happened. He was away at home, he returned yet another haul, which has been a consistent theme this season. Bruno Fernandes is just so consistent as the talisman of Manchester United, and it's just such a great option for captaincy and just to have in your team right now. And Grealish with the 10-pointer, so Aston Villa played West Ham on that Monday, and Grealish was the star of the show, dominating, and with Son and Klich, 3-pointers there. Nothing really to go as Leeds won only 1-0 and Tottenham tied 0-0. Another pretty lackluster performance from my forward line, except Callum Wilson, who I'll gladly take those 12 points on that Friday night. That was the first game of the game week, and it was a great start off to my game week. And I'm happy that I was patient with Wilson and it paid off, as hopefully after this COVID situation, Newcastle can play again, and he has some great fixtures coming up, and he's just so clinical, so I'm hoping that I can keep him for a little while longer. With Kane and Calvert-Lewin, these are my two bigger hitters up top, and they didn't really perform, as Kane didn't really have much to do against Chelsea's tight defense, and Calvert-Lewin missed a few chances against that high-tempo Leeds-Everton game. So now onto my current bust team for Game Week 11. So as you can see quickly in the top corner, I have 3.6 million in the bank, and obviously this team doesn't look very good on paper because of the postponed game. So Grealish, Wilson, and Martinez are my three players in action that will not be playing possibly, and even though this is the case, I most likely will probably be starting them in the end, and the auto subs do their work, as just in case Newcastle throw out their U21s or something like that and Aston Villa still play midweek. Maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't, but I won't take the chance, and I'll probably have to start them just in case. But we have Martinez in goal, and he'll probably be getting a 0-pointer because he won't be playing, and Justin against Sheffield. So this is a great fixture, and Sheffield just haven't been scoring, so I'm hoping for some points here. Cancelo against Fulham, so he did start today against Porto in the Champions League and played the full 90 minutes, so this is quite concerning. And if he doesn't start against Fulham, Taylor will come on and provide his cover, and Cancelo will probably be a transfer out in the next couple weeks. And Choa against Leeds is the mainstay in the team, as he's always going to be playing. And this is a decent fixture, as I don't really know what will happen. Maybe Leeds will score as they've been so good offensively, but maybe not. But Choa stays in the team here, and Lamptey comes back from suspension against Southampton. So hopefully Lamptey can get a return here, as I'm going to kind of have to play him, as I don't think he'll keep a clean sheet. But we'll see what kind of points he gets, as he's always so fun to watch. So now into the midfield, we have Grealish first, who will most likely also not be playing, so this will be Klich's spot, who plays Chelsea, and Klich is kind of a problem in my team, and could be a potential transfer out, which I'll talk about a bit later in the video, but this is a spot for now. And Fernandes as my captain currently is probably the best option and best player in my team right now, against West Ham away, which is kind of a tough fixture, but he's away, and you know what happens when he's away, so hoping for some points there. And Son against Arsenal, I could transfer him out, but that'd be kind of a waste as I have more imminent problems in my team. And so Son against Arsenal, who have been so poor lately, who knows, maybe he can get something there and get some points. The forward line remains unchanged other than Wilson, who will be replaced most likely by Mendy, who plays Sheffield United. And hopefully he plays as my 4.5 million midfielder, and he has been starting most games. So this week I'm hoping that he actually plays. And with Calvert-Lewin and Kane, they both have decent fixtures, as Calvert-Lewin goes up against Burnley, who just got walloped by Manchester City. And maybe Calvert-Lewin can hop back on his form, as he did blank last week. And so did Kane actually, who plays Arsenal, who, like with Son, Arsenal are in very poor form right now. And I think that Kane can get something here, and hopefully they can provide me some points, as my forward line will be pretty lacking this week without Wilson. So if we bring up my live team page here on the FPL website, there's a few transfer options that I'm thinking of. So first of all, I want to probably get rid of Son, Klich, and Cancelo potentially in the next couple weeks, with my eyes on that Liverpool-Fulham game. And obviously KDB is a really tempting transfer, but I think that if I want Salah the week after, I just don't have enough room, and I don't really want to get rid of Bruno at the moment, so I have to be sensible with my transfers. So one option first is to get rid of Klich and go straight in for Diogo Jota, who is probably going to rise in price to a few points more before next week and game week 12, and this would solidify that third midfielder slot over Klich, and I could bench Grealish for this week. Another option is to potentially get rid of Son for, where is he? Kevin De Bruyne. But like I said before, I think that this move isn't the best because I think that I want Salah in game week 12, and this would just be another transfer out that I'd have to do. And so I'm eyeing potentially to, and of course you could also go Mahrez here for KDB, but a lot of people have gotten him in because he got that huge haul against Burnley and he didn't play today in the Champions League. so probably start, but I just don't really like predicting Pep Roulette, as it's always a scary thing and it's so unpredictable. And Mars is a very hot and cold player, but if that's your style of play, then you could go for him, I guess. But the most likely option I'll be doing is probably getting rid of Cancelo after this week if he doesn't start, and I'll most likely be getting Kyle Walker-Peters, as Southampton have looked decent defensively. They play Brighton this week, which I won't need him for this week, but they play Sheffield United next week, who don't score at all and have not looked like they were going to do so. So I think that Walker-Peters in for Cancelo would give me enough money to go Son to Salah next week, or in game week 12. And so this would be the 4 players, or 3 new players I would have, and I still have 0.3 left, so hopefully this would be enough. And these are probably the most priority transfers I'm going to have this week, and hopefully Wilson, Grealish, and Martinez will be back the next week. So these are my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. That's going to wrap up this Game Week 11 team selection and tips video. If you've made it this far and you found the video somewhat useful, smash that like button, subscribe if you're new, and let me know down in the comments below what your transfer thoughts are, and let me know any tips you have for my team and what you think about my transfer ideas, as it's always welcome, and I'll always be replying to my comments. So with that being said, it's Adam FPL. Have a good game week, and I'll see you in the next video.